Hey YouTube, it's Margaret. Okay, so I was thinking, and I've thought this a couple times, and this video might be me totally rambling the whole time, and feel free to click off at any point. But I wanted to make this for, I guess mainly for those people in your life that have never struggled with weight loss, have never struggled with food addiction, and really can't relate it. They think that it's all a mind thing and that weight loss surgery is the easy way out, which, by the way, not the easy way out. So, but I know that it's tagged as that a lot. You know, you hear people say that all the time. Like it's you know, you do it and all of a sudden all this weight falls off and it's so easy. So I was thinking this, and let me give you a little background. Again, this is probably me totally rambling. I am 34 years old. I had to think on that one. My kids still say I'm 29 when somebody asks. I'm like, good kids. Hang on, sorry. I'm 34 years old, and I have struggled with weight my whole life. Like, I can remember being 5 and 6, going on crazy diets with my mom, and going to summers with my grandmother. Hang on, my cat is trying to eat a plastic bag. Going to my grandmother's for the summer and dieting all summer long in hopes that when I went back to school, I would no longer be the fat kid, which, you know, dieting my whole life only made me fatter and fatter and fatter. And I would diet and I would lose a lot of weight, and even in my adult life, like, I would lose a lot of weight and I would think that I had overcome it and I had changed and I was a new person, and slowly these little habits would creep back in till finally one day I'm like, oh, holy crap, I've gained 50 pounds, just to lose it again and back and forth. So that was my reasoning for wanting to have weight loss surgery. One, I am a food addict for sure. I know that I am. I admit that I am, and I admit that I have no control over it. Although I'm using my tool to help me with that. So I am a food addict. Two, I have yo-yo diet my whole life. And I know how to lose the weight. I know how to exercise. I know what you need to do. I've read all the books. I've gone to all the classes. I know what you're supposed to do. That was never the issue. Knowing it and doing it and living it are two different things. So my reasoning for wanting to have weight loss surgery was, one, I'm a food addict, and I honestly felt that this tool was the only way for me to conquer that. Whether that be the case or not, that's how I truly felt. And two, I wanted to lose it for good. I didn't want to lose it again just to regain it in a couple years. I wanted to lose it and be done with it forever. I have a young daughter. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I grew up. My mom was always overweight, and I don't want that for my daughter. I don't want her to grow up with bad habits and struggle with food addiction the way that my mom did and the way that my grandmother did. I don't want to pass that on to her. So I'm doing this now so that she doesn't ever have to deal with that. So I say all that, and me and my husband have been married for almost 13 years, but we've been together for 18 years. Been together since I was 16, and he has never struggled with his weight. He has had moments in time where he had gained a few pounds, but he's never struggled with it, and I think that that's a big difference. When he decides that he wants to lose the weight, he starts eating healthy, goes to the gym, and boom, within a couple weeks, he's back to where he wants to be, feels good, and he's all good. So to him, one, we haven't talked about it the way that we probably should, and I did not want to get emotional. This was not what this was about. I'm not sure that, and it's not his fault because I don't guess that I really explained it to him. He's not sure why I felt that I needed the surgery. Don't get me wrong, he's supportive and he's there, but I think he doesn't understand it because he's seen me lose it before. He's seen me work hard and go to the gym and eat healthy and lose it, but he's also seen me gain it back. And I think he just doesn't think that I needed it, or that maybe it was, maybe he feels that it was the easy way out. I'm not sure. Anyways, so I was in the car today, and I was thinking about telling one of my friends, as I haven't told anybody. I say anybody. Obviously, my husband knows, my kids know, my mom and dad know, my mother-in-law and my husband's aunt know, and 2 of my close friends know, and that's it. Even friends that I've had for many, many, many years that are considered close friends don't know. And my brothers don't know. My sister-in-law doesn't know. And I guess part of me doesn't want to tell them because I wasn't exactly sure how to explain it. I know that for me, it was the right decision. And I know that it's in my heart, I 100% believe that it's what I needed. But my sister-in-law is like a health fanatic. She is a certified yoga instructor. She doesn't ever eat, or, she grows her own food in her garden. She only eats things that are good for her, and she's raising her daughter the same way, and that's great. And, she's never struggled with her weight, and that's fine. And I feel like people that are like that, I wish I was like that. I wish I could be like that. That's what I strive for. I admire that. But I feel like those people don't understand. So, the reason for this video is to try to put it in a way that those people could understand. So, I am already at 8 minutes. Holy crap, this video is going to be long. So, my thought was alcoholism. If your spouse or a loved one was an alcoholic and they were spiraling out of control, alcoholic, it controlled their life. It controlled them. They had no control over it. They were an alcoholic, and they decided that they were going to get better. So they joined AA. And in this analogy, we're going to say Weight Watchers and AA are the same. In this analogy, food addiction, join Weight Watchers. Alcoholics, join AA. Stay with me. Hopefully this will go somewhere. So, they join AA, and they get clean and sober. And they are sober for, let's say, 1.5 years. They've done great. They feel 100% in their mind that they have conquered this. They are in control of it. Alcohol no longer controls their moods. It doesn't control their behavior. They are in control of it. They can go to the grocery store. They can walk by the beer and wine aisle, and it doesn't faze them a bit. They know what they're doing. They know the steps that they're supposed to stay on, and they're doing it. They can go out with friends, and friends are drinking around them, and it doesn't bother them. They, in their mind, feel that they have it under control. So, one day, they go to a restaurant or a bar, whatever, with a group of friends, and they have convinced themselves that one drink is not, that they've got this. They understand what they've done. They understand their past. They know what got them there, and one drink is not going to make a difference. So they order one drink, they drink the drink, and then they're done. They go home, they feel great, because what did they do? They went out, they had one drink, they said they were going to have one drink, and they did it. And they, in a way, that made them even more powerful, because now they know that, or they think that they know that they're no longer an alcoholic. Now, I have never had a problem with alcohol. I know people that aren't alcoholics, and they will tell you that they've been clean and sober for years, but they're always an alcoholic. But this is just totally an analogy. This is not, just trying to make it where it makes sense to weight loss. So they go out, they have one drink, that's it, they're in control of it. So they feel more powerful because they were able to stop at one, and they're good. So the next time they go out, they tell themselves, you know what, I have this. I was good, I did one drink, I kept it under control, I knew what I was doing, I'm going to have 2 drinks this time. Just 2, I'm going to cut it off at 2, just like I did with the one, and I'm good. We're going to go home, I'm going to be good. So they sit down, they start socializing, they order the one drink, okay, consciously, I'm ordering the second one, and then they look down, and the second one's gone. They don't remember drinking it, they don't remember what it tastes like, they just mindlessly drank it without consciously thinking what they were putting in their body. And at that moment, they freak out and leave. So they go home, and they're like, okay, I only had 2 drinks. I said I was only going to have 2 drinks. I only had 2 drinks. However, that second one went down so easy, and it was, you know, I didn't savor it. I didn't savor it like I said I was going to. I just did it mindlessly, and it was gone. So they kind of freak out. So they kind of stay away from that for a while. And then they slowly creep that back in. Those habits just slowly creep back in. They order one drink here, and then one night they go and they order 2 drinks, and then slowly they wake up and realize that now every single night they're drinking 2, maybe 3 drinks every night. Now, are they where they were when they were an alcoholic? Well, not when they were an alcoholic, because they're still an alcoholic. They have convinced themselves that they have control of it, but they're still an alcoholic. Do they, so they've convinced themselves that they're drinking 3 drinks a day, but they've convinced themselves that they have control over it. It doesn't have control over them like it did in the past. They're not waking up not knowing where they were. They're not, you know, they got this. It's good. Until one day, it's not good. And they know that they need help. Now, let me transfer over to the spouse. If you were the spouse of that hypothetical person, would you be supportive of them going to get help? I'm going to imagine that most people would say, of course. Why wouldn't we? They're an alcoholic, they've gone back on, they've fallen off, they're drinking every day, they need help. Yes, of course. Of course I would be supportive if they wanted to go get help. I can't imagine anybody that would say no. Why? Because alcoholism and being an alcoholic is a socially acceptable disease and addiction. People, if somebody were to check themselves into rehab, it would almost be admirable that they went and did that they consciously said to themselves, I have a problem and I need help. Nobody would look down on them. People would be glad that they went and got the help that they needed. I would imagine most people would be glad that they went and got the help that they needed. So why then, so that's my hypothetical situation with alcohol. So why then is that a socially acceptable addiction that needs somebody? You need to get help. You can't do this on your own. You need medical help to conquer it. So that is acceptable. Why, on the other hand, is weight loss surgery not an acceptable tool? I don't want to say cure, an acceptable rehab for people with food addiction. It's looked at completely different. I feel like the only people who socially accept weight loss surgery are those who have had issues with it in the past. They've been obese. They've been morbidly obese. They've done the research. They understand what food addiction is. And I think people who don't drink, are not an alcohol, or not a drug addict, they still know that that is an addiction, that they check themselves into rehab because they need that help. Where I feel like food addiction hasn't gotten to that point yet. So to people who don't have food addiction, to them it's just a mindset. Don't eat it. Don't sit down and eat a whole pizza. Just don't do it. Okay, well, that's the same as telling an alcoholic, just don't drink anymore. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I could never drink again. Would never faze me. But if I was an alcoholic, I would have a problem with that. And that's the same as with a food addict. You can't just tell me, don't eat that anymore. If it was that easy, I would never have a problem with my weight. Not to say that every person who's overweight has a food addiction, because I'm sure that there are people who just overindulge and are like, what have I done? Not saying that weight loss surgery is for every single person that is overweight. However, if you have a true food addiction, then I feel that this tool, granted, it's not fun, is a rehab for your stomach, I guess, is the way I'm gonna explain it. It takes you and it forces you to deal with emotions and deal with problems in a different way than you've dealt with them your whole life. Because when I'm happy, I eat. When I'm sad, I eat. When I'm stressed, I eat. When I have a headache or feels like I'm getting sick, I go and eat. When I was young, I used to get strep throat all the time, and my mom would take me to Wendy's and get me a Frosty and french fries because the cold and the salty, she said, would make me feel better. And it did. So in my mind, when I don't feel good, if I go get a large fry and a sweet tea, I'm going to feel better. And the bad part is that it usually works. Granted, it's temporary. But if I have a headache and I go eat those things or drink that, then I feel better. So if that's not an addiction, then I don't know what the definition is. But you know, I know now, even more so than before the surgery, that I am addicted to food, because now I can't do those things. And I have good days and I have bad days. It's so hard to understand and so hard to explain to somebody who doesn't understand it. And that was just like the best analogy that I could think of, because for whatever reason that's acceptable and people understand that and they're okay with that. And I just hope that eventually we get to a point in society where this is also an acceptable treatment for an addiction and a disease, which obesity is a disease, is recognized as a disease, whether people want to accept it or not, it is. And this is a known, and it's a treatment. So I So my tool is a treatment for that, just as rehab is a treatment for people who are alcoholics or drug abusers. So anyways, I know that this video is super long, and if you are still with me, God bless you, because I don't know that I'd still be with me. But anyways, I just thought I would share that because it was a thought that I had, and maybe I can have that conversation with some people close to me, and if not, maybe I'll just share this video with them. But anyways, I did buy a couple sugar-free flavoring things today that I found at Tuesday morning, and I was going to share, and I found a couple new protein drinks. I think I'm just going to save it all up and do it on my Wednesday update next week. So anyways, I'll see y'all then. Thanks.